A lot of times people will make these unnecessary repairs based on fear because they don't fully understand what the issue is. You're listening to a contractor tell you, "Oh yeah, you need to do this." Well, why? We had a hailstorm come through, and yes, I have damage to some shingles. Do I need to replace the whole roof, or can I actually just repair what's been done? You get hail damage on your car, you don't go buy a new car, you get it fixed, right?
One of the most expensive mistakes we see homeowners do is replace instead of repair. I'm Rachel Niederhofer.
And I'm Justin Niederhofer, and this is ReturnOnDesign,
the podcast where beauty meets strategy and interiors become assets that perform. On today's episode, we are going to talk to you about how to decipher when to replace and when to repair, and how this strategy approach is going to keep you from writing unnecessary checks through the process. So I have seen many times when people replace an entire roof when really all it needed was repair. So what went from, a $2,000 repair job is now a $20,000+ roof job.
It's a fear-based out. A lot of times people will make these unnecessary repairs based on fear because they don't fully understand what the issue is. You're listening to a contractor tell you, "Oh yeah, you need to do this." Well, why? We had a hailstorm come through, and yes, I have damage to some shingles. Do I need to replace the whole roof, or can I actually just repair what's been done? You get hail damage on your car, you don't go buy a new car, you get it fixed, right?
Yeah, we see homeowners do that all the time, but even investors will come in and they're blowing all their profit by completely replacing the roof when really it just needs to be repaired, and being able to be informed and educated enough on how to determine replace or repair.
Yeah, it boils down to lack of knowledge a lot of times.
Yeah.
And this is why, when you are doing jobs, you get multiple bids in the process. And you have conversation with the contractors that's bidding the work and show me.
Yeah, get on the roof with them. Walk up on the roof.
I've gotten on several roofs of houses and been like, show me what the problem is and why I need to completely rip this off, or can we just repair what's there, what damage is there?
And I think homeowners, we see it often where, the neighbor did it and now they're knocking on everybody's door and they're like, "Oh, well, if they did it, mine must be bad. I don't want to have some water leak that I don't know about." And you can easily get hooked into unnecessary repair
Well, in your investment in property, it's the same thing. Just because the guy down the street had to do all that or chose to do all of that doesn't necessarily mean you have to as well.
Yeah. By
doing all the repair work, sometimes you can actually create more work than necessary. For a roof, for example, when they're going to rip a roof off, they come out, they take the shingles off, they put new tar paper down and lay new shingles. Well, they didn't replace all the deck boards that are your actual roof structure. Well, okay, so I've replaced my roof every year for the last 5 years. How many new nail holes have I put in? How many new leak paths and points have I now put in the roof to create a potentially new problem?
The application eventually, who did it correctly?
That $20,000 roof, $20,000 roof now is going to be, the next time is, it's $60,000 because now I've actually had a whole lot more leaks.
Lot of holes in it.
This roof has a whole lot of leaks in it, which is now seeped into the walls, and I've now compounded the problem. It's the snowball effect.
Yeah.
Versus I could have replaced a few shingles here and there, the ones that were really bad and busted, and I didn't damage my roof, absorbently and unnecessarily in the process.
So sometimes just a simple repair is going to add tremendous value, not necessarily fully reconstructing an entire section, like a simple drywall fix or
how many
freshening up grout.
How many houses, have we worked on or looked at over the years where it's like, oh, there's a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Do I need to cut down an entire 4x8 sheet of drywall and replace that, or tear the entire wall down to repair it? No, I can put a patch in there, and it's a small job. It's simple, fixes the problem. In the end, it's correct, it's right, and it wasn't
There's also like
undertaking.
A very creative approach you can take to repair something and totally transform it without replacing it. Like an example, a material finish.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a design trend right now where people are covering old tile and brick with like a Venetian plaster application. And instead of, totally replacing it, deconstructing whatever material was there before, just to get that elevated aesthetic that you want, they're just applying a different technique and more of a repair, I guess, to a degree. That's, tremendously cost savings. Like even the house we're working on with the brick, all the exposed brick accents on the interior, and like, how do we aesthetically change that? We don't like it. Well, doesn't mean we have to reconstruct and totally do everything over again. Mm-hmm. And being able to, navigate that repair or replace, because if I just go to a contractor and say, hey, I don't like this, I want to fix it, they're going to say, okay, great. What do you want? You're like, oh, I don't know. I kind of want, more of a modern look. Okay, great. Well, we'll take down the brick and we'll throw up some
throw up a new brick.
Yeah. Or a new brick.
New style.
Or we'll paint the brick, or we'll, they're definitely, not necessarily going to strategize.
Yeah, and sometimes we're just making the small repairs or the small changes is all that's necessary to create the elevated, like you said, create the elevated look and elevate the space for a smaller investment, maximizing your returns.
Yes.
Your return on design, your return on the investment, and getting the space correct.
So being keenly aware that repairs are not the same as just shortcuts. Making sure that you really approach the repair strategically, because most of your return can truly just be held right there in the repair process. I mean, really keep an open mind, because sometimes replacing it is the way to go. It's going to give you the outcome that you're looking for already and be the most economical. And sometimes repairing something can actually eat up more money than it's worth repairing. And in that case, it makes more sense to replace. So it's not like an isolated decision. You've got to, stay open to your options, learning through the process, and making an informed decision. That's really the strategy behind what we do.
Educating yourself in the process.
Yeah.
What is it going to cost to repair this versus what is it going to cost to replace it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. The repair of this item is more expensive than replacing it. Okay, let's replace it.
Yeah. If you get so narrow-minded that you're like, oh, this is what I want and I know the path to get it, you may actually not know the path. You should probably just keep an open mind and make sure you get yourself educated before you start, putting a sledgehammer through a wall.
Yeah. With that, don't let fear or contractors make the decisions for you. Know what, understand what it is that you're looking into, and get clarity on what actually needs to be done.
Yeah. Contractors are not, strategists typically. They're there to do the job, and they function best in that capacity. Like, what is the plan? We execute the plan. They're not really the ones that you should be giving all the control to develop the plan, and making sure that, all of your goals are being accounted for. I'm sure there's some, but that's really not the role. So knowing who plays what role within the scope of your project is key.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to vet them out. It's again back to the point of why we get multiple bids for a job. You can see, well, person A says this, person B says this. What does the third guy over here, he's saying, oh, well, him and the second guy were actually a little bit more in line. So why is that? And can that be explained to me?
You have the micro or the macro view, right? You know what you want in the space, or you should know. And you have the ability, when you think strategically, to understand everybody's just playing a role on the micro level for what we're accomplishing on the macro level. And not to get too deep into economic terminology, but like it's the assignment of role, like the hierarchy in the process. You can't just give over and assume they're going to understand the big picture vision, because your electrician is going to be focused on the micro part of the electrical layout. And he needs a plan, he needs a directive, and he doesn't really care what you're going to do in the bathroom. It doesn't, apart from the electrical, it doesn't concern him.
Yeah.
So when he's making decisions for his plan execution, he's not necessarily going to think about your plumber plans. Contractors are focused on execution and people oversight. They're managing crews most of the time on multiple jobs at once. And they're thinking more logistic of timing and scheduling, like who needs to be where. So, I got to do drywall before I do paint, as a simple example. But there's sort of an order of operation, and that's how they think. They are not typically inclined to say, oh, we have an extra 100 square feet in the corner of this renovation, and we didn't really plan for that. So, you know what, let's just make like a massive linen closet, even though it makes no sense and we're wasting space. And, you might hate it in 5 years. Like, it's fine. It's just, we're going to finish this project. We've already got these people on this job. They're not really going to strategize as a designer would, or in our case, like strategically through the financial allocation with the design and function and form and all of the things that are necessary. Yeah, it's your job to be informed, to ask the questions, to learn, through the process of what actually needs to happen and why. Don't just do things robotically because someone says, oh, we need to do this. If you're not taking on the responsibility of learning the why and how it makes sense for you at the end of the day, then, you got to, take on a little more accountability, especially as an investor. Like, there's no excuse to just hire a general contractor, hire a crew, and then get upset when something happens or it doesn't go your way and complain that it's all on you. Well, of course it's all on you.
And remember, sometimes too, that contractor, their recommendation is sometimes based on what gets me paid more. What's easier for me? Because sometimes the easier option, the thing that I can do faster and, cheaper for me, but ultimately is going to cost you more money, is the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do.
Or the best.
Or the best thing to do, as we've talked about,
which is why people rip off roofs instead of patch them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different skill set. Meticulous. Yeah, exactly. Just rip it off, throw in the dumpster, replace it.
And in that process, I got to put 4 or 5 of my guys to work. I got paid more. Took me really about the same amount of time, but that was a whole lot easier than sending one guy over there to patch a few pieces.
Yeah, so true. And you can't, you have to know enough to know what's right for you versus like, it's not that they're functioning out of a lack of integrity necessarily, but you can't expect them to be what they were never designed to be for your project. And that is why we are here to teach you how to navigate these situations. So you learn how to get true return on design, regardless of, your project, and help you think strategically. It's really a mindset. Like, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you learn what we've already learned and equip you to actually succeed.
And to get you to think deeper and not just go with, well, this guy said that's what we need to do, so that's what we need to do.
Exactly. It's like what we were just talking to one of our kids about. When your brain hurts because you have to think a little bit, it doesn't mean you should just like roll over and belly up like you're done. No, you press in, you take on the intellectual challenge, you grow, and then you succeed. In the end, you're like, oh, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. I actually learned something through the process. So like if it feels intimidating, you feel afraid, you're unsure, don't know where to start, just rest assured, like you can actually learn how to navigate construction, how to navigate a renovation project, how to make decisions that are going to still keep you within your comfortable financial means for your project. And, you're going to be happy at the end.
It's a learning process. We all have to go through it. We all did it in school. We had to learn something new. This is something new. We just keep working at it, and we get better, we get smarter, we get more accurate, and it makes it easier in the process.
So if you like what you've heard today and you're enjoying this,
this dialogue,
make sure you subscribe to Return on Design, because we are going to have more episodes that are going to equip you.
And continue to connect with us on social media and continue to see what projects we got going and keep up with the latest things that are coming out.
If you like what you hear, if you are feeling like you're learning how to think like a strategist and you want to continue to learn, make sure you subscribe to Return on Design. We have a ton more episodes we'll be rolling out that are going to position you to succeed. And also make sure you're following us on social media. You can keep up with all of our projects happening real time and the tips and tricks that we'll share along the way. So thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.